Cocoa House, opened in 1960 by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, President of the Republic of Ghana, was built to reflect the board's faith in the future of cocoa industry and also to serve as a living monument to the hard work of the Ghanaian cocoa farmer. The building, after years of neglect and deterioration, has been given back its glorious image befitting the industry it represents. On Thursday, 21st August 2008, the Board of Directors, Senior Management and Staff of Cocoa Board, led by the Chief Executive and his 3 Deputy Chief Executives, were proud to once again invite the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency J. Ekufuor, to be the special guest to unveil the plaque to mark the commissioning of the refurbished Cocoa House. The well-attended event was also graced with the presence of senior ministers of state, traditional chiefs, cocoa farmers and their representatives, managers of businesses that operate in the cocoa industry and the general public. After the arrival of President Kufuor at the ceremony, the national anthem was played to signify the official start of the day's event. Prayers were said after the national anthem, then followed with the introduction of the chairman of the occasion by the MCs, Mr. John Clotisifa of the Legal Department Cocoa Board and Mrs. Ajwa Afriye Ajote of the Accounts Department Cocoa Board. In his remark, the chairman in the person of Dzatabu II, Kweuman Hene, and chairman of Board of Directors Cocoa Board had this to say.
I feel highly honored to be chosen to chair today's function to commission the refurbished Cocoa House. Your Excellency, the foundation stone of this building was laid by the late Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the first President of the Republic of Ghana, on 1st October 1957. It took 3 years to complete, and the commissioning and unveiling of plaque was done on the 19th of November 1960. This imposing edifice has served the purpose for which it was built. Cocoa, as we all know, is the backbone of Ghana's economy and a major foreign exchange earner. Your Excellency, this building has for over 40 years not seen any significant rehabilitation until 2001 when the NPP assumed power. Indeed, with the state of disrepair, an amount of 6,283,52.97, that is Ghana cedis, had to be spent to bring it to this stage. It took a lot of courage to undertake a task of this magnitude. This achievement has been possible due to the increased cocoa production since 2001 under your able leadership as follows. 2001 to 2002, we had 340,562 metric tons. 2002, 2003, 496,846 metric tons. 2003, 2004, 736,975 metric tons. 2004, 2005, 599,318 metric tons. 2005, 2006, 740,458 metric tons. 2006, 2007, 614,532 metric tons. And 2007, 2008, that is up to the live crop, we have 663,954 metric tons. The commodity has also attracted good prices in the world market, and the prospects are bright. With the greatest humility and appreciation, I accept to chair this function and hope with the cooperation of all herein gathered, I trust that this ceremony will come off successfully. Thank you very much.
I'm very pleased to welcome you to the official commissioning of the refurbished Cocoa House.
In his welcome address, Mr. Isaac Osei, CEO of Cocoa Board, started by saying,
even though the basic structure has not been significantly altered, Cocoa House, as we knew it only a few years ago, is certainly not the same building that today some of us have the privilege to work in.
In his speech, Mr. Osei took time to give a brief background to the refurbished building. He stated that the board started work in the rented premises belonging to the Export Produce Control Board on the 28th February Road, Accra in 1947. It moved later to Swan Mill in a property owned by the United African Company Limited UAC. The Cocoa Marketing Board rented part of it at an annual cost of approximately £4,500. Mr. Osei said in 1957, the late Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Prime Minister of Ghana, laid the foundation stone to mark the beginning of the construction of Cocoa House on Kwame Nkrumah Avenue, Accra, to provide offices for the board. According to Mr. Osei, the building of Cocoa House was not only meant to avoid payment of rent, but also to be a concrete expression of the board's faith in the future of the cocoa industry and as a monument to the hard-working Ghanaian cocoa farmer. Mr. Osei stated that the 6-story Cocoa House, which was built at a cost of nearly £1 million Gold Coast pounds, was commissioned in November 1960 by President Nkrumah and has over the years provided offices for foreign and local organizations such as Ethiopian Airlines, Air Afrique, Air Ivoire, Air Togo, Ghana Airways, Ghana Supply Commission, ARB Apex Bank, and other private companies. Mr. Osei said the commissioning ceremony was a result of the decision taken in the year 2001 by the Board of Directors and Management of the Ghana Cocoa Board to completely refurbish Cocoa Board's head office building, which had fallen into a very poor state of repair, into a structure that will meet today's challenges of good corporate governance and provide a conducive working environment.
Within this refurbished edifice is a state-of-the-art gymnasium and fitness center set up to promote the health and strength of our staff. And on this occasion, it is only appropriate that I commend our board chairman, Dzatabu II, Okwawumahene, under whose quiet and able leadership the board approved the bold initiative of my immediate predecessor, Mr. Kwame Sapon, to undertake this refurbishment.
In his speech, he further mentioned that the refurbishment of the building was supervised by 2 reputable local consultants and the work were carried out by 14 Ghanaian contractors, subcontractors and suppliers, with the first phase of the project being completed in March 2005 and the second phase at the early part of 2008. The total cost expended in this important exercise, according to Mr. Osei, amounted to 6.5 million Ghana cedi, which was financed from internally generated funds. Mr. Osei, in his speech, also stated that the premises now had a modern look with network computer and telephone systems, CCTVs to enhance security, and hoped that those entrusted with the maintenance of this magnificent property will ensure that it will look squeaky clean year in, year out. Commenting on the board's reason for refurbishing the property, Mr. Osei said,
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to say that Cocoa House has been turned once again into one of the very beautiful and imposing structures in the capital city of Accra. Your Excellency, permit me to say that what we have tried to do here is not dissimilar to your very commendable efforts to restore to glory and improve national monuments and structures such as the Castle, Osu, the Peduasi Lodge, Job 600, Flagstaff House, and the stadia in Accra and Kumasi. Give it up for the President. Many Ghanaians often ask why we are prepared to put good resources into building mighty edifices and other public buildings, and yet we refuse to take care of them. We refuse to maintain them. Let me entreat the staff of the board to treat this facility, which our own president is commissioning today, differently. And I'm pleased to say that the General Services Department has complied with management's directive to provide a routine and periodic maintenance plan for implementation. Nana Chairman, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, nation building is not only about the new things we put in place, but it is also about how we protect, care, and take pride in what we already have. Mr. President, no leader of our country in recent times exemplifies this truism more than you.
Ms. Osei highlighted some of the key strategies and action plans that had been designed and implemented from the premises, including the implementation, monitoring and evaluation of the composite high-tech program, which will lead to the attainment of the 1 million tons target. He also took the opportunity to assure all present at the ceremony that Cocoa Board was fully committed to ensuring that the industry's objective of achieving 1 million tons production in the medium term was attained, and called on all to ensure that through their core values of achieving excellence, this will be met in the next few years. Mr. Osei further assured the President that his directive to the board to move to ensure increased value addition to Ghana's cocoa had been taken on board, and by the end of 2008, Ghana will have a domestic processing capacity of 350,000 tons, which exceeds the 40% target given the Ghana's present production levels. The CEO, in concluding, again welcomed all the visitors to Cocoa Board head office, especially His Excellency the President, adding that Cocoa Board was proud of the President for his support of the cocoa industry that had led to production gains unprecedented in the history of the industry.
Your Excellency the President, we are proud of you because your support for the cocoa industry has led to production gains unprecedented in the history of our industry in our country. We are proud of His Excellency the President because of the high pedestal to which he has raised the image of the cocoa farmer in Ghana. We are proud of you, Your Excellency, because not only have you restored dignity to the high office of President, but your general performance as head of state has been exemplary and worthy of emulation by succeeding generations of leaders. Indeed, I have no doubt in my mind that while you retire to a well-deserved rest at the end of your tenure as president, when the history of cocoa and that of our country are chronicled, you will be numbered in the pantheon of great men of our times. So I welcome all of you to this commissioning ceremony, and I welcome you, especially Mr. President, and hope and pray that you will enjoy this day with your people. I thank you for your kind attention.
I am singularly honored to have this opportunity to be present at this official commissioning of this
refurbished cocoa house.
Mr. Sona Ibai, Secretary General for Cocoa Producers Alliance COPAL, brought greetings from COPAL.
Ghana is a founding member of the Cocoa Producers Alliance. Ghana is a champion of international coordination on cocoa matters. Ghana is the yardstick of quality in the international cocoa market. In today's economy of limited resources, where developmental projects have to be prioritized, it is very reassuring to see that the government of Ghana has spared no efforts to cater for the two main tenets of quality and of total quality that the market requires, and that is continuous education and training of manpower and investment in infrastructure. So I am not the least surprised that we can today in Accra have such a magnificent edifice which speaks eloquently for the Ghana cocoa sector. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for this gift. Nana Chairman, Board of Directors.
Mr. Kwejoban Redu, Minister for Finance and Economic Planning, also addressed the gathering present.
It's with great pleasure that we have all gathered here today to commemorate the formal commissioning of the rehabilitated Cocoa House. We all agree with me that Cocoa House symbolizes the foundation of the cocoa industry and therefore merits the investment sunk into it to give it a facelift. The completion of the rehabilitation of this structure, which comes with the state-of-the-art equipment, also symbolizes government's resolve at ensuring that the infrastructure base of the country's economy is expanded and improved upon.
On the importance of cocoa, Mr. Bairedu stated that the MPP government, realizing the importance of agriculture in alleviating poverty in Ghana, identified cocoa as a priority subsector. He said, cocoa, which is referred to as a tree of life and also described as the food of the gods, occupies a center stage in Ghana's economy and will continue to be important. The Honorable Minister stated that the cocoa industry has seen a lot of development under the NPP administration, which had led to the general improvement in the living conditions of cocoa farmers, and emphasized the government's commitment to ensure that all the needed assistance is given to the cocoa sector. As a result, he said the government had come up with various policy initiatives which undeniably have led to tremendous successes. On the policy measures, Mr. Bairedu said,
Nana Chair, Your Excellency the President, the impressive performance being witnessed in the cocoa industry has resulted from the major policy initiatives pursued by the current government over the period, among which are the following: increased producer prices and payment of bonuses, effective disease and pest control exercise.
He said, however, that in spite of these achievements, there were daunting challenges which require the concerted effort of all stakeholders to resolve. Mr. Bairedu stated that to achieve the 1 million tons of cocoa production target, more hard work needs to be put in, and invited all players in the cocoa industry to partner with the government towards achieving these laudable goals that will place Ghana's cocoa industry on a higher pedestal. The minister took the opportunity to thank the able cocoa farmers for their hard work and dedication and encourage them to continue their good work. He also noted that since 2001, producer prices have increased nearly fourfold. This, he said, has ensured that farmers are paid decent and remunerative prices, with farmers currently enjoying over 70% of the net FOB prices. In concluding, Mr. Bairedu congratulated the board, management and workers of Ghana Cocoa Board on the opening and assured them that the government will continue to work hand in hand with them to ensure the country reaps the maximum benefit from the golden pod.
On 19th November 1960,
in his address, the special guest of honor, His Excellency John Agyekum-Kufuor, President of the Republic of Ghana, started by saying,
commissioned the head office of the Ghana Cocoa Board, and at the time it was called Cocoa Marketing Board, CMB for short. With 6 floors, lifts, and rooftop staff canteen, it was not only one of the tallest, but also one of the most modern and elegant buildings in the city of Accra. Sadly, like many of its kind, this national monument received very little maintenance over time, thereby losing its shine. This government, in its resolve to rehabilitate our nation, decided to refurbish Cocoa House to restore it to its former glory. It is to commission this refurbished facility that we are here this morning. That cocoa remains the mainstay of the Ghanaian economy is not in doubt. Nana Chief Farmer, please let all cocoa farmers know that the nation remains grateful to them.
President Kufuor went further to state that Ghana's economy is dependent to a high degree on primary production in agriculture, mining and export. He said the export of cocoa, gold and timber traditionally accounts for the greatest bulk of merchandise export, with cocoa subsector alone contributing 16.4% of the aggregate agricultural growth in 2003 and 12.2% in 2006, making it the highest contributor to the agricultural growth. In terms of foreign exchange earnings, President Kufuor said the cocoa subsector contributed an average of 28.9% of the total export earnings from 2000 to 2005. On increasing cocoa efficiency, His Excellency had this to say.
Other policies and programs for growth include mass spraying, which has been reintroduced since 2001. This program employs over 50,000 workers per annum and has led to a tremendous reduction in crop losses since its introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure that not all of you know about the Cocoa High-Tech program, which is the novelty that is doing wonders in the sector. I must therefore inform you that it involves application of fertilizers, insecticides, and fungicides, besides use of improved planting materials. Since its introduction in 2003, productivity of most cocoa farms has gone up. Indeed, this is mainly the secret behind the phenomenal production levels of recent years.
His Excellency also stated that the government's policy to pay an increasing share of the FOB price to the farmer and ensure that cocoa farmers receive reasonable incomes to cover their cost of production and make some profit has been consistently pursued and successfully carried out. President Kufuor announced that the farmers' share of the FOB price has consistently increased from 46% in 2000 and 2001 crop year to about 72% in the current crop year. He said government, in collaboration with Cocoa Board, has targeted a minimum of 40% of annual cocoa output to be processed locally in the medium term. In line with this objective, the President said the government, with the support of Cocoa Board, pursued a number of policies in a bid to attract investors to invest in cocoa processing. The President went further to state that Cocoa Board, through the scholarship scheme instituted for the wards of farmers, has over the years contributed significantly to the human resource development of the country. He said Cocoa Board has increased its contribution from 15 billion cedis to 20 billion Ghana cedis in order to sustain the scheme.
It is also worth noting that for the crop year 2006-2007, Cocoa Board has paid bonuses twice to farmers. This amount involved 32 million Ghana cedis. This is the first time that bonuses have been paid twice in a year, and I believe this practice will continue.
On the issue of child labor, the president said the government, through the Ministry of Manpower, Youth and Employment, in collaboration with Cocoa Board, will continue to support ongoing projects aimed at eliminating the menace wherever it exists in the cocoa growing areas of Ghana. His Excellency, in concluding, said,
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to conclude by urging management and staff of Cocoa Board to endeavor to develop the culture of maintenance to keep the refurbished facility in the best of conditions at all times. I now have the pleasure to declare the refurbished Cocoa House commissioned. Thank you, and may God bless us all.
All too soon, the ceremony is coming to an end.
In his closing remarks, the chairman for the ceremony, Dzatabu II, gave a brief highlight of the occasion. He stated that the various speeches stressed the importance of cocoa in Ghana's economy and the invaluable impacts that cocoa has made on their lives. Dzatabu also said that glowing tribute had been paid to illustrious farmers who had embraced the innovation in the cocoa industry to bring cocoa production to the current enviable position. He further noted Cocoa Board and the government assured commitment to these illustrious farmers to ensure sustained growth in areas such as payment of attractive producer prices, biannual bonus payment, pursuit of pest and disease control programs, and cocoa high-tech practices. After the chairman's speech, he made a presentation to the special guest of honor, President J. Kufuor.
We are so grateful, and on behalf of the board of directors and the entire staff and management of Cocoa Board, I make this presentation to you. Your Excellency, we are so
for sparing time to be with us. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Mrs. Sarah Aklibosu, senior stenographer at Cocoa Board, gave the vote of thanks, after which prayers were said. After the opening ceremony, the special guest of honor, President Kufuor, was invited to cut the tape and unveil a plaque to mark the official commissioning of the refurbished Cocoa House building. Greeted by well-wishers and supporters, the president made his way to cut the tape. After the cutting of the tape, Mr. Isaac Osai invited President Kufuor to tour the refurbished premises with him. Whilst touring the facility, the President visited the trading rooms of Ghana Cocoa Marketing Company Limited. His Excellency was invited to try his hand in selling Ghana cocoa on the international commodities market. In preparation to meet the set target of 1 million tons of cocoa by 2010, the government of Ghana, through the Ghana Cocoa Board, has opened a 50,000 ton capacity cocoa warehousing complex facility at Tema, Community 3. The new facility was opened on 19th August 2008 by His Excellency J.A. Kufuor, President of the Republic of Ghana. Present at the ceremony were senior ministers of state, traditional chiefs, cocoa farmers, and representatives from businesses that serve the Ghana cocoa industry. Also present was the Chief Executive of Ghana Cocoa Board, Mr. Isaac Osei, his Deputy Chief Executives and Senior Managers. The warehouse complex known as Dzatabu was built at a cost of 23.7 million and comprises 5-unit warehousing blocks with 6 adjoining loading bays, a container depot, a multi-purpose lorry and car park to accommodate about 100 trucks, 2 office buildings with car parks, a changing room, a quality control laboratory, a standby generator and a 27,000-litre overhead water tank. A colourful and grand derby was put up by Cocoa Board to celebrate the opening of the facility. The event was a mix of speeches, brass band music provided by the Ghana Police Band and cultural music. the arrival of His Excellency President J. Kufuor to the Durban grounds, a special ceremony to officially unveil the names for the new warehouses and office blocks was conducted by the Chief Executive Officer of Cocoa Board, Mr. Isaac Osei, assisted by his Deputy Chief Executive, Mr. Tony Fofie, and Mr. Intim. Present to unveil the names for the warehouses were traditional chiefs from the various named towns or districts, assisted by their district chief executives. Enchi Warehouse was unveiled by Nana Odinho Bretu IV, Omanhene of Awunsuyaman traditional area. He was assisted by his DCE, Honorable Kingsley Ofuriasante. Bonsunkwanta Warehouse, representing the Gabeso district, was unveiled by Nana Osei-Sappo, Chief of Bonsunkwanta. He was assisted by Honorable Asiedu Mensah Abrampa. The Ebisu Warehouse, representing the Dia district, was unveiled by Nana Afo-Pao II, Chief of Debisu. He was assisted by his DCE, Honorable Benjamin Ama. Sefioso Warehouse, representing the Sefioso district, was unveiled by Nana Okwa Okumkom II, Omanhene of Sefi. He was assisted by his DCE, Honorable Atabu Ahmad. Dadieso Warehouse was unveiled by Nana Odinho Bretu IV, Omanhene of Awu Nsoyaman traditional area. He was again assisted by his DCE, Honorable Kingsley Ofuriasante. Dunkwa Enofin Office Block, representing the Upper Denchira in the Central Region, was unveiled by Nana Odeifo Wamponsem II, Omanhene. Nana was assisted by DCE Honorable Richard Anani Adabo. New Edubiasi Office Block, representing the New Edubiasi in the Adansi South District, was unveiled by Nana Esilfia Sari II, Omanhene. He was assisted by DCE Honorable Francis Dokwenyo. On the arrival of His Excellency President Kufuor, the national anthem was played to mark the official start of the day's event.
We've gathered here today,
After which Christian, Muslim and traditional prayers were said. The chairman of the event was introduced by the Master of Ceremony.
Board, its divisions and
In his speech, the chairman, in the person of Dasibre Nana Ekuyama Boatin II, Kwewuman Hene and board chairman for Cocoa Board, in his acceptance to chair the occasion said,
the commissioning of the 50,000 tons capacity warehouse here in Dzatabu, in Tema. Your Excellency, cocoa storage at the ports had hitherto been a headache to the board and management of Cocoa Board, particularly during this peak during the peak of the cocoa season, in view of the increase in cocoa production since 2001. At the time of this increase in production, Your Excellency, the cocoa warehouses located within the Tema port were earmarked for demolition to pave way for the construction of container terminals. Today, Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to be called upon to chair this occasion of the commissioning of this magnificent warehouse complex. As the chairman of the board of directors of Cocoa Board, under whose regime, if I may use the word regime, this project was initiated and executed, I happily accept to chair this function. My anticipation is that the joy associated with the construction of the warehouse complex will touch the hearts of all herein gathered to make this occasion come off successfully. Thank you very much.
Nana Chairman, Your Excellency Mr. John Agyekum Kufuor, President of the Republic of Ghana.
After the chairman's speech, the Chief Executive of Ghana Cocoa Board, Mr. Isaac Osei, delivered his welcome address. In his speech, Mr. Isaac Osei started off by welcoming all to the event, paying special tribute to His Excellency President Kufuor for taking time out of his busy schedule to grace the occasion with his presence. Mr. Osei affirmed the important role cocoa plays in the economy of Ghana and urged all not to lose sight of the tireless effort of the farmer, who is the backbone of the Ghana cocoa industry. The CEO went further to applaud President Kufuor for his vision to mitigate losses of cocoa yield to pests and diseases, which has today resulted in increase in cocoa production. He was also happy that His Excellency was able to open this facility during his tenure of office as President.
Mr. President, your leadership and vision regarding efforts to mitigate production losses from disease and pests has been a key driver of the unprecedented success the industry has had over the last 5 years. Your Excellency, it is only proper that you should commission this complex, since it was started and completed and put to use during your tenure as President.
Mr. Osei then praised the chairman and board of directors of Cocoa Board and his immediate predecessor, Mr. Kwame Sapong, for their vision and perseverance which gave birth to such a project. On the challenges of using rented warehousing facilities, Mr. Osei said one of the major challenges facing Cocoa Board over the years had been the issue of effective warehousing and port operations. He noted the nuisance caused by a large fleet of articulated trucks carrying cocoa that littered the areas around cocoa takeover centers in Tema, Takoradi and Kasi during peak cocoa seasons. Isaac Osei said the opening of Dzatabu was the first phase by Cocoa Board to resolve their entire warehouse needs. On the benefits of owning such a facility, he said,
"With the development of an efficient warehousing system, it is also expected that malpractices in our port operations will be minimized, if not completely eliminated. Indeed, port malpractices such as short waits and short landing in our warehouses have led the present management to take drastic disciplinary action, including dismissals of some of our staff. Your Excellency, with the installation of weigh bridges with digital check weighing systems and other facilities in support of the operations in the warehouse, it is expected that there will be a vast improvement in accountability. When operations improve and good financial results are obtained, the general welfare of all stakeholders in the industry will equally be enhanced. Our programs on the ground for the cocoa industry, including the warehouse developments, are therefore meant to ensure a win-win situation for all players in the industry. This requires the collective resolve and discipline on the part of all stakeholders. Mr. President, a miniature cocoa farm, which you can see right there, has been established on the facility grounds to constantly remind us of the efforts of our hard-working cocoa farmers and to demonstrate that cocoa can indeed be grown even in difficult coastal areas if you know how to take care of it. Indeed, if you went to Boli, where we have a cocoa research institute, you will see fruiting cocoa trees in Boli in the north. So it can be done if we put our minds to it. But on these premises, we have built offices for our quality control division and for our subsidiary, Cocoa Marketing Company Limited. There are also offices for the licensed buying companies as well as canteen facilities. Modern sanitary systems have been established for cocoa carriers and the drivers who bring cocoa from the hinterland. Mr. President, the entire project was brought to completion at a total cost of 23,737,985 Ghana cedis, 15 Ghana pesos. $23.7 million Ghana cedis. On the occasion of the commissioning of the Dzatabu warehouse complex, I say Akwaba to all of you, especially the chiefs, the queen mothers, and district chief executives of the 7 leading cocoa producing districts of Ghana. Mr. President, I'm delighted to welcome you to this complex, and I pray that you will enjoy your short stay with us. Enuanom ni adofo nananom asma mekaye Akwaba sem enam de bae ye bo mo a mufri seviwi oso de biso bonsun kwanta ene new adubiase dunkwa onofin ene enchi ni dade so ye bo mu nyina abaso adwuma pa momanfo aye enu nti nene mo ha yi a omampanin no ankasa wagye atum se koko da nakoma so nti obeba no abedie saa adie yaman sese mukro no edin da so eda ho afebo ekena mokwa yenchima ba behunu se nananom omo ye adwuma a eso ani eso koko board any titru Ghana ban ani saa adie yayi enye say ye jai quote say sankori any kasapin omuso di mu akotene na mu omu da omachi uka sankori say ya best cocoa farmers nfie num etwa mu yi enan efi sankori nko a na so om cocoa no ye kan nyina abomu a enu omu a ye dia momu omuso de ebeba entimasma ne say ye ma mu nyina akwa ba titru president Kufuor yenim se samre woni adade kra nanso koko asem da nakoma so nti ena ene ono atutu ne nan waba ha enti me nuanom na mu nyina Akwaba nyame hira mo.
Minister of State mena nanama himfo
Nana Yadom Boachi Kukuruku II, Chief of Sefi Ahiem and National Farmer for Cocoa, Coffee and Shea, was invited to give a short remark. In his speech, Nana had this to say.
Baby, see, as I say, I could do, Sa na Kofi Putin Bay na Bushini. And there, how about you congested? How about you say, Holiest, Kopasika, Pusum Ben Auchi, no one in your conclam fire car coil. Edma on me, I am not quite busy basa, and then the flip be a Sisiasa, and then yeah, warehouse. No one so say, my name does, especially this is no. wo abo won din no na mom do to e wa me on to bi o anka se wo de share ni ba kon tu cocoa coffee sia no farmers association e se ye ne ye wo okuafo lo na no say esie ni ka ja ni aseda na ya mbe gina ha tem bia ma nya de bia misawa makuafo no na de na ko e wa misawa misra 3 months spraying aboye na afi minim de asi dwabu so esem nron ye de kwa enoso ne ye bomba adan tokwa enti se lupu obi ese ba bi a bo modna na ma ye mfa bi nkoma o bo modna afi mi gina ha mi sha obo what can be said the year 210 over 1 million tons yes sir ya be ma o na mom se ntimi amfa amawa na smuggling bia e koso no na ama ye bose no ankwankodi wo e ho hwe ho djuma na ye na smuggling bi koso a afi mi ni se light crop de anka se enya no ye nyan me da wase.
I'm deeply honored for the opportunity given me to deliver speech on this August occasion to commemorate the commissioning of the Ghana Cocoa Board Warehouse Complex.
Speaking on behalf of the Minister for Finance and Economic Planning, Honorable Kojoba Reju, the Deputy Minister for Finance and Economic Planning, Professor George Jan Bafo, congratulated the Board of Directors, Management and staff of Cocoa Board for their achievement over the past years in developing the Ghana cocoa industry to become a stronger pillar behind the development of Ghana's economy. He applauded Cocoa Board's effort aimed at modernization of the industry in the interest of efficiency and cost effectiveness. The Deputy Minister cautioned Cocoa Board not to become complacent with these great achievements. He also assured Cocoa Board of the government's continual support to their work.
Your Excellency, Honorable Ministers, distinguished guests, Nananum, I believe that with this expansion of warehousing facilities, coupled with sound warehousing management and practices, Ghana's reputation of producing premium quality cocoa beans will be enhanced. The government totally supports Cocoa Board's effort at reaching the 1 million metric tons per cocoa production level in 2010. We should, however, ensure that post-harvest losses are reduced to the barest minimum. And your warehousing projects could not have been better timed.
Professor George Jan Bafo said his ministry was ready to continue its support to Cocoa Board. To this he said,
I take this opportunity, therefore, to once again congratulate Cocoa Board for its leadership role in steering the affairs of the industry. I will encourage you to construct more of such good infrastructural facilities in the years to come. Your Excellency, on this note, I wish all stakeholders well in the future, and I thank you so much for your attention.
I'm very happy to join you here at Tema.
In his address, the special guest for the occasion, His Excellency President J. Kufuor, President of the Republic of Ghana, had this to say.
For more than a century now, Cocoa has been the lifeblood of our economy. Production reached its highest peak around 1965, when about 600,000 tons were recorded before it slumped for various reasons. It picked up again to reach about 400,000 tons in the year 2001. It is indeed heartwarming that our illustrious farmers have broken the record by hitting over 700,000 tons under this government. But far from being the limit, the nation has capacity to attain even greater heights still. Indeed, the goal is to achieve a production level of 1 million tons by the year 2010. For this, government will support farmers to sustain the adoption of cocoa high-tech practices, including mass spraying that have proved effective in achieving the current high levels of production. Further, government will sustain the massive work which is ongoing throughout the country in the road sector. In particular, the special cocoa roads to help with the prompt evacuation of the produce will continue to receive attention. The housing scheme for farmers, which has commenced on a pilot basis, will also continue. On top of all this, the cocoa farmer is assured a fair producer price, currently at 70% FOB. And I should say that this year, I'm already talking with the Cocoa Board and the Ministry of Finance, and I'm sure there will be good news within the next month or two.
His Excellency noted that if cocoa cannot be effectively stored for shipment, the nation will be seriously shortchanged by losses through bean spoilage, and that the industry stands to gain the more when in tune with current global trends such as the mechanized handling of cocoa by means of conveyor belts, forklifts and weighing bridges within the warehouse. His Excellency charged Cocoa Board that with such modernization, the government expected the highest level of efficiency and accountability. He went further to congratulate Cocoa Board, Ghana Ports and Harbour Authority and all who had contributed to making the Dzatabu warehouse project a reality. President Kufuor affirmed that the launch of the new warehouse was in line with Cocoa Board's aim to increase yield to a target of 1 million tons by 2010. His Excellency noted that this targeted increase demanded an expansion of the facilities at the takeover centers at Tema, Takoradi and Kumasi, and accordingly, the government had approved Cocoa Board's plan to commence the construction of a 100,000 tons capacity warehouse in Takoradi this year, which will be worth $65 million. His Excellency urged the youth of that area to position themselves for the jobs which will be available when work commences. On the issue of the development of the inland port, the President emphasized that the government had not abandoned the policy of developing the inland port in Kumasi and other strategic inland locations into modern warehousing facilities to eliminate congestion at the terminal ports. His Excellency said it was unfortunate that some of cocoa's old threats like swollen shoot disease continue to haunt the industry.
Nana Chairman, we expect the lessons from the construction of the Tema warehouse to guide the work of the Takoradi facility to make it more cost-effective and user-friendly. I should add that government has not abandoned the policy of developing the inland port in Kumasi and other strategic hinterland locations into modern warehousing facilities to eliminate congestion at the terminal ports. Sadly, some of cocoa's old threats, like the swollen shoot virus disease, continue to haunt us. I have directed Cocoa Board to intensify its program for containment of these diseases. Indeed, this is a problem afflicting not only us, but also our sister nations in the sub-region as well. I therefore use this opportunity to call for an ECOWAS initiative to combat the diseases.
President Kufuor, in his speech, went further to announce that 100 selected cocoa and shea nut communities had been earmarked for the supply of good drinking water through the provision of solar-powered water pumps within the next 2 to 3 months. In addition, about 350 to 400 cocoa communities in deprived areas have also been considered for installation of solar street lights. He said both projects have been implemented on pilot basis and will be replicated in subsequent years. Finally, on the commissioning of the warehouse complex, His Excellency had this to say.
Nana Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, once again, let me commend the Board of Directors and the management of Cocoa Board for their efforts to improve the industry and the welfare of cocoa farmers. Now it is my singular honor to declare the Dzatabu warehouse complex, Community 3 Tema, commissioned. Thank you very much.
All too soon, the ceremony is coming to an end.
After the president's speech, the chairman of the occasion, Dzatabu Nana Akufo-Addo Boateng II, Kwewuman Hene, was invited back to give his closing remark.
Cocoa is the mainstay of Ghana's economy. Government tributes have been paid to our excellent cocoa producing communities, as well as our illustrious farmers. It is this recognition that has manifested in the naming of the warehouse complex and other buildings after the outstanding cocoa districts. Cocoa communities and cocoa farmers have also been assured of government's commitment to ensure sustained growth in areas such as payment of remunerative reducer price of not less than 70% of the FOB price, biannual bonus payments, pursuit of pest and disease control programs, and cocoa high-tech practices. Cocoa Board's program to increase cocoa production to 1 million tons by 2010 has been kept in perspective and lauded. This anticipated increase comes with commitment to also build a 100,000 tons capacity warehouse in Takoradi. The need to cultivate the culture of maintenance of this facility has also been stressed. Indeed, a facility of this nature requires constant maintenance to serve the purpose for which it was put up. With the construction of the warehouse, therefore, we have been saved the unpleasant duty of explaining to the public the reason for the annual congestion at the ports. I thank you all for making my task an easy one. Thank you very much. It has indeed been a great day. A great day in the sense that we have been privileged to have no other person than His Excellency John Ajikun Kufuor, President of the Republic of Ghana, to commission the 50,000 metric tons Dzatabu warehouse complex.
At the end of the Durbar, Mr. Intim, Deputy Chief Executive Operations and also the Chairman of the Planning Committee, gave the vote of thanks.
Indeed, the quality assurance of Ghana's premium cocoa depends on the sound state of our warehouses, including what we are witnessing today. I'm sure we are all proud to be part of this event and would have wished the program to continue all day. However, we have to draw the curtain down at this juncture to pave way for His Excellency to undertake his other assignments. It is therefore appropriate that we show our appreciation to all who have contributed in diverse ways to make this event a success. First and foremost, we're grateful to the Almighty for granting us life and strength to witness this occasion. We would like also to extend our heartfelt appreciation to His Excellency, the President, for taking time off his busy schedule to attend this memorable event. We are particularly grateful to the Board and Management of Cocoa Board for giving us the opportunity to serve on this planning committee which organized the event. Our thanks also go to all government officials, chiefs, farmers, and other stakeholders in the industry who honored our invitation to be here today. We are grateful to our sponsors whose support has gone a long way to make this program a success. Our doors are still open to institutions desirous of using our facility for advertisement purposes. We hope our public-private partnership will continue to grow from strength to strength in the years ahead. My appreciation also goes to all staff of Cocoa Board who have spent their time and energy to ensure the successful execution of this program. I'll take this opportunity to acknowledge the contribution of the policeman, cultural troop, ushers, security, traffic wardens, media, drivers, and all others who have contributed in diverse ways to make this event a big success. We pray for traveling mercies for all those who responded to our invitation to grace the occasion. We count on your continued support in our bid to make Ghana's cocoa industry the best in the world. May the Almighty God bless you. Thank you.
His Excellency President J. Kufuor was invited with his senior ministers and special guests at this point to officially open the new facility.
I am honored to cut this tape to declare this warehouse complex. Hand down. Hooray!
Board on this 19th day of August, the year of our Lord, 2008. Hooray! Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you,
Cocoa Board Complex a warehouse commission Udwe Hussein.
Cocoa Board warehouse complex the yenegasa de hu se ade a edimu ye fi se be tikoko e be break afo be break kokko ne be ba na be gu nsuom na e be pro de na ade ha o man no o man no so ntumi entumpon enkosoro sa dan ka se ne se kokko no free yemkuro asa ne ba ensa biem e be bo ama ska Cocoa Board a combo be benzo e kan be ko form so ba how be dan wa wasi odi no what was you there and for so also to Omaya de Bomabaso.
Fine, well, what I wish I could one or two questions. Beyond the President Eba Commission, Cocoa Board Complex, told join it.
Sunny, what that allows Sunny way here. Ni cow shed never na feel a fell ni a here fee. Chuchunoni, your abomi, yake, Chuchuno equeni, akehi, Oya yeli. Lo hishana fe shene na nake abomi gbele mene akeje abomi akeba ni nibi komeni inaye bi tutu ebejeme eyake tutu ahie scale krokro ni awo ni amano na awe odani shene be ni ehu no awe the fact ejinokuni ehi ojugba.
What brought about the facilitation of this?
Well, basically my predecessor and the board at that time thought it was necessary, since Ghana Cocoa Board did not have any warehouses of its own in the port of Tema. In the past, we had warehouses at the port area, but as a result of the redevelopment, we lost out, on the warehouses we had. So we had to rent warehouses from private warehouse owners. And we realized that we didn't have any bargaining chip. We're still using private hauliers, but now we have this 50,000-ton facility. We save a lot of money on warehousing costs. And also we have a fair degree of control over the movements of our produce.
Right.
Yeah. Also in this warehouse, we have been able to install weigh bridges and conveyor belts with weighing facilities. So we are modernizing the whole operation. These conveyor belts are also stackers. And they're able to stack up to a height of 23 or 25 when we used to do only 18. So we have created, this is a 10,000-ton facility, but now we can store cocoa 11,000. So we've created space for 10%. And that's the way
with your projected plan in place, where you're thinking of the year 2010, you're reaching 1 million. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
How are you going to cater for storation of this?
Well, you see, the most important thing is the throughput. It's not the capacity, it's the throughput. How quickly you're able to bring cocoa in and how quickly you're able to take cocoa out. But we are mindful of the fact that we will probably require internally 150,000 tons. That is why we are building a 100,000 ton in Takoradi, because the Western region accounts for 62% of the total produce of cocoa. So if we can send the cocoa straight there, we reduce our transport costs and our logistics chain is shortened.
For us owning our own warehouses, first, it's an investment. When you invest, you're expecting to accrue some incomes, and we are of the hope that over the years, the rental income will always supersede the cost of acquisition. So that's one savings that we are making. Apart from that, you want to have control over the produce. Ghana prides itself in selling good quality cocoa. And for us, if we have control, if the cocoa is in our own warehouse, then we control it totally. That is one, so to maintain quality. The third one I can also see is the fact that security. You want to assure yourself of the fact that your cocoa is secured.
Say the cocoa marketing board aye amaye when one penny for amaye. Aye fe bebre anu ti no ye besre ye nanano mo ne ye nuanom akuafo ne se omo wa no mo nyire won ho enya adwuma no ma adwuma no entumi entumpon se de cocoa no mbesi abua ema na aye fe ne se de mbesi aburu no ne se de mbesi ahata no ameba etumi aye aso wani na bebu fro no so omo ye bibi etise ya na omo sisi adan etise biwo a won san de bi asan atoye bio amayedin konkan na migiri se nya ha nko na beso ebetumi abasa abrochi memu nyina akora no yedin betumi aduro ye be stresse ombe ye ma koko no atumi akwa anim afei koko no so adwuma na me ho no se de aban mampani kofo aboa se de osi spray boa ye ebre ye nuru a ye de ebe spray koko no so ye di gugu asie ni ade oh papa yi ayade enu ntini ye besre akuafo ni nyina asa mommoa yen mfo odomo na fi mommoa ye mienko yanim me feel sad dia obeya obesan wachi dia di nkuguo ba.
Being in Accra, I've seen how Cocoa Board has suffered keeping the cocoa beans at the harbour. It's been one of our concerns as citizens, even before we being part of the cocoa industry. And I'm really proud of what Cocoa Board has done and what the government has been able to do for this industry, because our cocoa beans were really suffering. And those were some of the setbacks why we have cocoa beans being damaged at the final destination where our cocoa beans are being bought.
We previously had problems with offloading at the ports, with a litter of articulated trucks on the streets awaiting offloading, with complaints coming from licensed buying companies, especially regarding labor costs and others. So I believe that with the commissioning of this warehouse, it will go a long way to ease this problem and also in a way cut down on costs as far as the operations of the licensed buying companies are concerned.
We've got some very bright engineers in this country. We've got good technicians, but when we relax, they'll go to bed, and we are not going to bed. We apply the whip, and if it's not properly maintained by those who are supposed to, sanctions will apply.
The other side of the story is international consumers are now getting interested in using our products from a traceable source. How is Cocoa Board gearing itself to ensure that each bag of Cocoa's premium beans can be traced to the source of those plants that's exactly in Ghana?
Well, we don't have a problem in Ghana. Right from the onset of the industry in Ghana, if you look at the seals, every cocoa bag is sealed, and the seal tells you about the origin, the village where the cocoa was produced, the person who sealed it. So, and if you can trace to the village, you can also trace to the district. So we don't have a problem. And indeed, we are already engaged in traceability on a pilot basis with a company called Amajaro. Yes, and the Japanese have also spoken to us about traceability of products, and we're thinking through the whole process to see how best that can be achieved.
Before the signing ceremony, Cocoa Board organized for the delegation from the international banks to visit the Cocoa Research Institute of Ghana, TAFO, to find out the important role research has played in assisting Ghana to maintain quality and high-yielding cocoa beans over the years. The delegation was led by two of the Deputy Chief Executives for Cocoa Board, Mr. William Mensah, Head of Finance and Administration, and Mr. Tony Fofie, Head of Agronomy and Quality Control. En route to Craig, the delegation made a whistle stop at the late Tetekwashi's cocoa farm in Mampong, Ikuapem, where they were briefed on the history of cocoa in Ghana and showed the original cocoa tree planted by Tetekwashi in 1879. On arrival at Creek, the delegation was met by the Executive Director Dr. Edu Ampoma and his Deputy Director Dr. Franklin Menu Amwa. Dr. Ampoma gave a brief background on the activity